It can have a very traumatizing effect. It can create anxiety.
Tonight, new efforts are underway at the Statehouse following a Call 6 investigation into the use of seclusion and restraint on students. Call 6 Investigates found Indiana school districts misreporting the number of those cases, and now a state senator is pushing forward a plan he says will address that problem. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny joining us now with the very latest. Kara.
That's right, Melissa. State law actually requires school districts to report every time a staff member puts a child in a seclusion room or uses a manual hold called a restraint. Now, the methods are typically used to keep a student from hurting themselves or others. But Call 6 Investigates found that data does not include school resource officers, and one state lawmaker says that needs to change.
When a school staffer puts a child in a seclusion room or restrains them, the school district has to report it to the state. But there's no requirement for school resource officers to do the same. The Commission on Seclusion and Restraint met in September and expressed concern school employees are calling school resource officers to restrain a child rather than doing it themselves. Senator Randy Head is concerned as well and authored this bill that would require school resource officers to report incidents.
If someone is secluded or restrained and it happens to be by a school resource officer and not by a teacher or a principal or a dean, my thinking is that we still want to know that that happens so we can get an accurate picture of what's going on.
We spoke with two school resource officers, DJ Sheff, who's with the National Association of School Resource Officers, as well as Scott McKinney with the State Association.
In law enforcement, we have a lot of paperwork that we deal with, and it would probably, I would see it as checking another box.
Both say officers typically get involved with a seclusion or restraint only after a school staffer's tried everything else.
Any hands-on interaction that a police officer would have inside a school setting would be at a very last resort situation.
Call 6 Investigates found Indiana school districts misreporting how many times they secluded or restrained a child.
For Indiana to take this seriously, we really need to understand the problem. And without good data, without being able to understand that, we really can't move forward.
Melissa Keys with Indiana Disability Rights says Head's legislation fills a much-needed gap. However, there's still no punishment for districts who misreport.
The bill still falls short in that there's still no accountability for the schools. If they don't report, there's nothing to hold them accountable.
The Commission on Seclusion and Restraint vowed to meet again this fall to address the misreporting issue, but they never met. We reached out to the incoming Superintendent of Public Instruction, Jennifer McCormick, to find out her plans for this issue, and we're still waiting to hear back. As for Senator Head's school resource officer bill, it has been assigned to a committee and is expected to get a hearing. Melissa?
Karen.